Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
Hello everyone, Carrie here with the Unicorn Company podcast, and today we are talking about the Assault and Cavalry Lance. Now, you might be wondering, what do we have in the Assault and Cav Lance? Well, two of the vehicles we've already talked about in my first look video before the Kickstarter released, and that is the Pegasus Scout Hover Tank and the Schrek. And I got these when they were pre-production models. So they may or may not have changed in some way. We will find out here in a moment. What we're going to do is first we're going to dive right into the Pegasus. Now, the Pegasus, as you recalled, I gave it a pretty good review. And this one does not look like it is going to change that review at all. So the mold line for the tank, once again, the hull is a single piece cast. And it's right at the top of the hover skirt where it just looks like it's part of the armor plating. They did a wonderful job there. The turret, if you spin it a few times, it loosens up the turrets and they get a little bit easier to pop off. So I'm spinning it around a little. And then we're going to just pop that right off. I'm sure you probably heard it when it came off. It's a hard little booger to get off there. It is quite small, so be careful if you remove it to paint it that you don't lose it. Because you definitely could. So looking at the hull without the turret looks really good actually. I still like the amount of detail they've put into it. I feel like there's no major changes or anything from the pre-production model. I will say that you'll probably want to pop the turret off to get to the fan ducting that is right behind it. And my only my only quibble with this is probably going to be that fan duct. If you have the turret off and you look directly down behind the hole for the turret, you see these two openings with curved, what look like fan blades. So I'm assuming that's some kind of turbofan back there because those look like thrusters on the back. And you have two air intakes on either side of the vehicle. Now, once again, my poor applying real life stuff to BattleTech brain says that fan is too big and would spin. The center of it would be right next to the back of the turret ring, and that would spin through the turret. And probably, like, I'm assuming this is an automated turret, being controlled from the driver's position because it has no indications of being big enough for a person to fit in, but that's a lot of mechanical stuff to get around. I think they could have just left that detail off and made it standard venting, and it would have looked a little bit... Don't you love that snap? It's so satisfying. I'll do that again. You could have left that as just standard venting. It would have looked a little bit better, and my poor brain would not try to rationalize how it works. But overall, the model is a really good quality miniature, and even that... The only thing you're going to have to be careful with is on the back of the tail. It is super thin. You can actually see light pass through it. It's so thin. But it does show how they can do stuff that's super thin, super small. Sometimes they have trouble, like with the battle armor. So then we're going to look at the cards for the Pegasus. And we're going to start with the standard Pegasus Scout Hover Tank card at 25 points. It is available from the Succession Wars forward. It's a combat vehicle, size 1, TMM of 3, movement of 16 hover. It's a striker. Does 2 at short and medium, no long range value, 5 armor, 2 structure, with elemental engine, searchlight, SRM-11, turret of 220, SRM-11. We covered the Hetzer last week during Tanksgiving, and looking at the Pegasus, I gotta say it's a better Hetzer. Few points more, but it is harder to hit. Does the same damage and has a turret. So then we have, after that, the 3058 upgrade of the Pegasus. It's a 30-point tank. It's a combat vehicle, size 1, TMM 3, movement of 18 inches hover. It's a striker. Has a short and medium of 2, no long range once again. Armor 3, Structure 2, with specials of ECM, Probe, Recon, Searchlight, SRM-11, Tag, Turret 2-2-0, SRM-11. So in that upgrade, you're not paying for firepower or movement or armor. You are paying for tools. And in this case, it's going to be that ECM, the Probe, and the Tag. ECM can be useful against C3 networks. Probe is not super useful in a lot of scenarios. I feel like that's something it needs to change. And Tag is obviously good if you're throwing missiles downrange with Arrow 4. And of course, this is available Clan Invasion Forward. I think I mentioned that. I don't remember, though. Of course, there is a C3 variant of the Pegasus, which costs 32 points. It's a combat vehicle, size 1, TMM3, movement 18 hover. It's a striker. Does 3 at short, 3 at medium, nothing at long. With armor of 3, structure of 2, with C3 slave, mobile headquarters 1, searchlight, and turret of 3-3-0. And this is available from the Blakist era forward. Now, my thoughts on the C3 Pegasus is that if you are running it in a C3 unit as a scout, which I think like a really good pairing would be a couple long-range C3 units, one of which housing the master unit, and a couple of these C3 Pegasuses, because they do hit hard enough to be a problem, and they're fast enough to get in there and get you shorter range firing solutions on targets. So of course you're going to want to be able to get them up close, and yeah, I mean it's not bad. I would not, this wouldn't be my first pick for a Pegasus to take, but you know, that's because I don't run C3 a lot. Otherwise, though, damage-wise, it's decent, and it's overall a pretty good version of the tank. And then finally, we have where'd you go? There it is. Sorry, not C3. The upgrade Pegasus. Now, it doesn't have a year attached. It's just the upgrade. Yeah, this is the Pegasus the guy at the dealership tries to sell you, and has all the bells and whistles and probably heated seats. You know, it's 38 points. It is a combat vehicle, size 1, TMM4. Okay, movement of 22 inches. It's a scout. Has short of 3, medium of 2, long of 1, with 4 armor and 2 structure. So it's really not more. Well, no, 3 and 2, 3 and 2. Okay, so it is 1 more health. So it's a little mediocrely bit harder to take down as far as armor and structure, but its real armor is that speed. Now, specials are indirect fire 1, probe, recon, searchlight, turret 2-2-1 with indirect fire 1, and I think I mentioned it's dark ages forward. Pros and cons of the Pegasus, like, I want to say I would take the C3 variant, but the C3 variant, unless you're plugging it into a C3 system, you're paying a tax on it. And I wish that they had not done that with Alpha Strike. I wish they had kept the C3 calculations separate, so that way you could use it in the C3 network and pay the extra bit. And they could even have had like a cost where it's whatever, and then next to it is the C3 cost. So like that C3 version, it would be like 32 and then, or something /32. It's probably like 30/32 or 31/32. But you are paying a tax on that C3. So overall though, good model. The Alpha Strike stats for it are pretty good with the cards that you get with it. And of course there's always Master Unit List if you want other versions, and I'm sure there are other versions of the Pegasus. It's been around long enough. So the next one we're going to cover is the Condor Heavy Hover Tank. And the Condor is something of a interesting little design. And I wish that dog would stop barking. I apologize for the dog, but there's nothing I can do to get around it. So, as far as the miniature for the Condor, so first of all, like overall look, it looks really nice. It once again has like the jet engine style exhausts, and it does have intakes on the side, but I'm not seeing a giant turbofan duct right behind the turret where it would cause problems, which that's a good thing. You know, nobody wants to get shredded up by their own turbofan. especially when they're trying to fire at an enemy target. So popping off the turret, as you probably heard, let's take a look at it and see what we're looking at. This one, they have really hidden the mold line somewhere. Like, I don't see it. And they've done a really good job. In fact, I have a feeling the clip point and the mold line are both on the bottom of this somehow, because I don't see a remnant of either. And that is a masterstroke of engineering a two-piece molded product to make it look like it's not molded. The details on it are nice. I do wish the little side turret next to the cockpit moved, but it doesn't. There is that. The turret itself is really nice as well. I do like the way it's really straightforward and basic. It's got sloped front armor with all the weapons just pointing out of it. This barrel does have a tiny bit of a burr, but nothing too serious. And all the hatches are there where they make sense. Although your driver's not opening that with the turret forward. And yeah, I mean, overall this is a really good model. I think it's a good quality. It's a little awkward looking of a tank, but that's just because of the design of the tank. Now, looking at the Alpha Strike cards for the Condor, we have the two double-sided cards here, and that's not going to get confusing at all, no. Alright, so we start off with the standard Condor Heavy Hover Tank at 27 points. This is available from the Star League era forward, and it's a combat vehicle, size 2, TMM3, movement of 16 inches hover. It's a striker. Short and medium of 2, long of 1, with 3 armor, 3 structure, with elemental engine, searchlight, and turret 221. So not bad. There are worse tanks out there. The next one we have here is going to be from the Clan Invasion, and it's available all the way forward. It's 34 points. It is the Condor Laser, and this one is a combat vehicle, size 2, TMM3, movement of 16 inches hover. Once again, it's a striker, short and medium of 3, long of 0, the armor of 4, structure of 3, with searchlight and turret 330. So, quite frankly, it's super simple. It's, once again, this is another model, another Alpha Strike unit that I would hand to a newer player, simply because it doesn't have a ton of things for them to look at. And I know that sounds bad, but it's true. Like, if you're getting someone into the game, you don't want to hand them a unit like that has every bell and whistle on it at first. You want to give them the simpler stuff that just works, and then you can introduce them to things like ECM and Case 2 and oh dear God, BattleTech Hardgel, or stealth, or there's things that you just find yourself not wanting to bring up on those initial play-ins, and then you get them into the game, and you can expose them to more of the complex and more interesting things that are in the game, and sometimes frustrating, like laser reflective armor. Anyway, so let's go into the Dark Age, and the Dark Age has 2 Condors. The first of these, you might have noticed I said that's not going to be confusing. The first of these is the Laser Upgrade Condor. Yeah, not confusing at all, and I see why they did it though. So it's 32 points. It's a combat vehicle, size 2, TMM3, movement of 16 inches hover. It's a striker. Has a short and medium of 2 with a long of 0. Has armor of 5 and structure of 3. And I think I mentioned laser reflective armor a moment ago. This has energy, re-engineered laser, searchlight, and turret 220, re-engineered laser. So this is made to combat those units with the laser reflective armor. It's not bad for what it does. I mean, 32 points for a unit that does 2 damage, though it feels, Then we have the Ultra Condor. It's 35 points. It is a combat vehicle, size 2, TMM3, movement of 18 inches hover. It's a striker. Now this has a decent damage output of 3 at short, 3 at medium, and then 2 at long. with armor of 3 and structure of 3. It has anti-missile system, case, fuel cell, reflective armor, searchlight, tag, and turret of 332 with tag. And like I said before, it's available from the Dark Ages forward. That's a pretty nice little tank right there. There's a lot of stuff on it, so like I would start someone with the laser version, bump them up to the laser upgrade or to the ultra, because then you're getting into special abilities. So overall, the Condor, the tank's really nice. The cards that come with it are good, and I do like it, and I think they did a really good job on that sculpt. So now we have the Schrek. I will say not much has changed from my initial review in the first look video, but I do want to take a look anyway, because there might have been something that changed. Who knows? Alright, so starting off, looking for mold lines. Nope, not seeing them. Alright, once again, I did an amazing job of hiding the mold lines on the body of the tank. Like my review's not changing on the body, at least. It's all nice, it's good, I like it. You can feel the mold lines on the corners, but you can't see them. So if you want to not feel them, you could just run a sanding stick, like maybe a couple passes on the front corners, and you're good to go. There's a clip point on the back left of the hull, just above the tracks on the rear facing part, but nothing that's bad. I mean, nothing that like you look at and you go, ooh, that needs fixed. No, they did a pretty good job on this. I still kind of lament the whole where is your just standard hatch, but other than that, no big deal. The turret is also very well done. It does have a hatch on it, and it does feel very much like from the side, when you're not looking at the fact that it has 3 turrets or 3 guns on the turret, it looks like a normal tank hull, like a normal tank. In fact, like if you were to take this miniature and clip off the 2 side weapons, it would feel very much like a normal tank. But it has 3 of them. And the only problem I have is that the far right barrel of the PPC seems to want to point down about like 0.5 millimeter. But like at a distance, you don't really notice it. So overall, good miniature. My review really doesn't change. I do like it, and I think they did a wonderful job on it. Now let's look at the cards it comes with. Alright, so first you have... Okay, so that's... Ooh, that's interesting. Although, all of them are roughly the same, which is kind of weird. Okay, so let's start with the standard Schrek PPC Carrier. It's 25 points and available in the Succession Wars Forward. It has a type of combat vehicle, it's size 4, TMM1, movement of 6 inches tracked, and is a sniper. Has a short, medium, and long of 3, with armor of 4, structure of 4, energy, searchlight, and turret 333. This is a super basic tank, and it's not going to take a ton of punishment, but it is an interesting version of the tank. So let's go on to the next one, which is also Succession Wars Forward, and this is the Schrek AC Carrier. It's 24 points. It's a combat vehicle size 4, TMM1, movement of 6 inches tracked, with the role of sniper. It's a short of 3, medium of 2, long of 2, with armor of 5 and structure of 4, with AC 122, elemental engine, searchlight, turret 222, and AC 122. And I think I mentioned it's Succession Wars Forward, and it's 24 points. And that point difference is pretty much because the lower damage. And has 1 more armor. So then we get into the 2 newer variants. The first of these is a Clan Invasion variant. It's the XL Engine version of the Schrek, and it's 28 points. It's combat vehicle size 4, TMM1, movement of 8 inches tracked. It's a sniper. Has a short, medium, and long of 3 with armor of 5, structure of 4, ENE, searchlight, and turret 333. Basic upgrade. Not a lot of point difference. I don't know. You gain 2 inches of movement, but your TMM doesn't change. So I don't know if that 1 extra point of armor is really worth it. And then finally we have the Gauss rifle carrier version of the Schrek. It's 29 points. It's a combat vehicle size 4, TMM 1, movement of 6 inches tracked. It's a sniper, short of 2, medium and long of 3, with armor of 5, structure of 4. Has ECM, searchlight, stealth, turret 233. So this is the put it over way away from everybody and let it just plink at things. This also came out in the Dark Ages. So it's an interesting take on the Schrek. I kind of would have liked to have seen, or I'm sure there might be one anyway, but a heavy PPC Schrek with capacitors would just be a medium range terror. So we have one last vehicle in this force pack, and that vehicle is the biggest of the big guns in the Mercenaries Kickstarter for tanks. It is the Demolisher heavy tank. Now this is of course one that is sort of legendary in the community because, well, it's massive. Well, it's not as massive as it can be. But it's known for being a big, heavy, powerful, terrifying tank. It's got dual autocannon 20s. Now, looking at the miniature with the turret off the hull, first of all, the hull of the tank, it looks nice. Once again, it looks very near future-y, kind of like the Von Luckner from last episode. It does have a weird setup on the side with this little ladder, which I know is a holdover from the dual track, or the four track Demolisher from way back in the day, which you can still pick up on Ironwood Metals. They still make it. Overall, though, like, I'm not seeing any real mold lines anywhere. You can feel them. If you run your finger along the side, they hit it in like corners and stuff. So they did a good job on that. And all the stuff on the tank looks appropriate for being a tank. Now, if we go to the turret, in general, the Demolisher has a very strange turret. Looking at the bottom, you can see the mold line. They ran it longitudinally along the turret, it looks like. You can see it on the bottom, but when you flip it over to the top, they have done a really good job of hiding it. Like, I can't see it on the top. I do like that looking at the turret. Well, first of all, you do have the classic burring around the end of the muzzle. But other than that, I mean, the detail on it is astonishingly good. The tank commander has a little viewport on the turret. I think that it, or on the, not on the turret, on the top of the hatch, which I think is just wonderful because it sort of like, you know, gives it that look of, yes, that is actually a thing that's used by people and not just some sci-fi type thing that somebody threw together. And yeah, overall, this is a wonderful, wonderful model of the Demolisher. I don't know if I'm going to use it. I love that noise. I don't know if I'm going to use it. I'm a big fan of faster tanks, but the Demolisher just has some scary stats. So let's start off with the standard Demolisher heavy tank. It's 27 points. It's available from the Succession Wars forward. Has stats of combat vehicle, size 4, TMM1, movement of 6 inches tracked. It's a juggernaut. Short and medium of 4, long of 0, with armor of 5, structure of 4. Specials of AC 440, elemental engine, searchlight, turret 440, AC 440. Yeah, it's a beat stick. It's basic. It's beautiful, and a lot of people like it. So nothing really to say about it. So then we have the Gauss Rifle Demolisher, 34 points. It's a combat vehicle, size 4, TMM1, movement of 6, tracked. It's a sniper, 443 for short, medium, and long. This has armor of 7 and structure of 4 with searchlight and turret 443. Really basic. A little bit scarier in my opinion than the other Demolisher. And this is from the Clan Invasion forward. So 34 points for a 443 platform with that much armor and structure. That's not a bad deal. Then we get into the other two Demolisher variants. First of these is the Clan Demolisher, which holy... Okay. Clan Demolisher, it's 33 points. So it costs 1 less than the Gauss Rifle Demolisher. It's combat vehicle, size 4, TMM1, movement of 6 inches, tracked. It's a Juggernaut. Short of 6, medium of 5, long of 0. Armor of 6, structure of 4, with case, flak 330, searchlight, turret 550, flak 330, and this is Clan Invasion forward. You plug the Demolisher into the Clan military industrial complex, and you get this monster out of it. That is just scary. You know what, though? The Inner Sphere does respond to things like that, and the way we respond is by making a better one. So, this is available from the Dark Ages forward. It is the Fuel Cell Demolisher. It's 38 points. It's a combat vehicle, size 4, TMM1, movement of 8 inches, tracked. It's a Juggernaut. Short of 6, medium of 6, long of 0, with armor of 7, structure of 4, with case, fuel cell, searchlight, and turret 660. So overall, that is like, yeah, 38 points. That's not bad. I mean, seriously. Okay, so now, what are my thoughts on this? What do I think of this lance, or these lances? Because you get 8 of them in a box. You get 2 of each vehicle. So, first of all, at the quality that you're getting, 8 of them at $5 a piece is not bad. So the manufacturer's suggested retail price is, once again, $39.99. You can get it from Fortress once it comes out at $29.99, and that bumps the price down even more. Now, the Schrek, obviously, I do feel like the PPC thing, the barrel's a little bit of a minor, like, it bugs my OCD a little bit, but overall the quality of these is wonderful, and I really think they're worth your money. So if you do want to get it once it comes out, my sponsor, Fortress Miniatures and Games, carries it for will carry it for $29.99. Yeah, I mean, that's really good quality miniatures, and especially like the 2 Demolishers themselves. Like if you go back to the metal miniatures, the era of the metal minis, it was expensive, but like the Demolishers themselves are just beautiful models. I absolutely love them. I don't know if I'm going to use them though. I got to figure that out. That is everything for today. I really hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for listening. If you would like to support the podcast, you can obviously go to our sponsor, Fortress Miniatures and Games. I'm sure they appreciate the business. Of course, if you want to support us directly and help us out, then you can go to patreon.com/unicorn company, and there are a number of tiers there. You can help us out for as little as $1 a month. Also, Patreon has switched over to a different billing system for people who use the Apple Store. If you are using the Apple Store, they gave me the option to raise the price. I was like, no, because Apple apparently takes like a chunk of it. And you know what? Like, the price is what the price is. I'm not gonna pass that on to y'all. So anyway, I hope that y'all have a great day, great evening, great whatever it is. I'm going to roll the credits, and this is Carrie signing off. I want to thank all of our patrons and sponsors. Starting off, we have at the rank of Captain, Sarah. Then we have our Mercenary Review Bonding Commission representative, also known as our sponsor, Fortress Miniatures and Games. We then have our lieutenants, Boy in a Box, Haley, and Nathan. Our sergeants, Blind Zen Archer. Gus, Faz, and Steven, and let's not forget our cadets, NB Kaiju, Jamie, and Scott. Thank all of you for supporting the podcast and the channel, and if you would like to support us, and you can go to patreon.com/unicorncompany, where we have a number of tiers. One might just fit you. So thank you all very much, and have a good day.